Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's finally autumn, which I'm very happy about because it is my favourite season, and September happens to be my favourite month as it's my birthday month. So I decided to create a curated palette for it. The palette is called the Harvest Moon palette, which is the name of the full moon of this month, and it so happens that this September's moon is also a super moon, which is always exciting. I'll be swatching this special palette for you, and after that I'll be doing a little bit of painting in my journal to show you what this little palette can do. I really hope you enjoy the video. So for this palette I chose 10 colours, and I experimented quite a lot with the colours that I was going to put in because I wanted them to have a really good synergy, to mix well and to evoke an atmosphere that reminded me of September. So I'm going to begin swatching the first colour, which is the yellow that I chose for this month, and it is called, I hope I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Enfuagado, and it is by Essay, and it is a beautiful bright ochre. I have to say I have kind of a strange relationship with ochres because sometimes I really love them and sometimes they're so dull and muddy that I don't feel that they suit my palette. But this one's gorgeous. So this is Enfuagado. I am going to swatch it in mass tone first. I think I added a bit too much water for it to be mass tone there. You can see it has the dullness of an ochre in mass tone. Not as dull as some that I have seen. But once you dilute this beauty, it is just so bright and transparent. So it's very versatile. A very versatile ochre. Oh, that's beautiful, 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 beautiful. That's such a beautiful, bright, warm ochre. The next colour that I chose for this palette is Rosehip. And Rosehip is in another autumnal palette I created, which is the palette I created for Deep Deep Light, which is called the Whispered Season. And I just love it. It reminds me so much of autumn, and it reminds me of rose hips, which we have a lot around here. There is a village further up from us that is called the Rose Village. Well, it's not called that officially, but it is known as the Rose Village, and they make rose water and anything that is related to roses, really. Soaps, essential oils, anything. So it kind of reminds me of driving past that village. This is beautiful. This is such a beautiful, beautiful colour. One of my favourites for autumn. It will be a staple in my autumn palette, I think. And I'll dilute that. And you'll see once it's diluted, it has that a very earthy yellow undertone. By the way, this paper is not cold pressed, it is hot pressed. And it is not going to show the texture as dramatically as a cold pressed paper would, but I prefer to paint on this paper, and as I will be painting on the next page, I wanted to, have them both in the same journal, the swatches and the painting. So The next colour is Perilyn Crimson, and that is by Michael Harding, and it's by far the most beautiful Perilyn Crimson Perilyn Red, should I say, that I have come across. It's beautiful. It is vibrant. It is rich. It's a red apple colour. It's beautiful. I mean, it's so beautiful. I haven't tried many Michael Harding colours, but from those that I have tried, this one is my favourite. Beautiful. This also would work well as in a Christmas palette, I think, like a really vivid, bold red. But we're not quite there yet. But for an autumnal palette, it is beautiful. And it mixes so well with that enfuagado. It produces one of my favourite mixes. It's a pinkish, orangey colour. It's so pretty. See if I can dilute it sufficiently. It's so pigmented. Don't want to get any extra bits of colour on there where it shouldn't be. My journal, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, is the Bao Hong Hot Press Journal. I love these little journals. I always worry I'm going to run out, so I restock whenever I can. The next colour is by Red Clover Meadow. It is pear green. It is a beautiful warm green. And I thought my September palette needed this. Let me swatch this in mass tone first, as much as I can, because I've added water beforehand and it's kind of diluted the colour. And my brush is wet because I keep washing it. I'm not getting as much pigment on it as I wish, but as you can see, still very pigmented. Beautiful colour. I'm going to dilute it. And it's beautiful. It has an inner glow, but not too loud and not too, it's just very delicate, a delicate glow. Very pretty. The next colour is Wagon Green, and that is one of the new colours by Deep Deep Light, and I love it. Let's see if I can, yeah. My brush is still very wet. Just going to dab it. Yeah, that should be okay. It is an olive green, a dark, moody olive green, which I thought suited this palette very well. Mixes very well with the blues and the pear green and the enfuagado. I just dilute that now that I need it diluted. One thing I really like about Deep Deep Light colours, talking about Wagon Green, is that you can achieve a very opaque layer of colour, but you can also have a beautiful transparent colour. And the Mother Earth, which comes up later, much later, it's the last one, is a testament to that. It blows my mind how they do that, because the translucence, and I can't speak. The translucency of them, once they're thinned down, it has a clarity. It has a clarity which I find rare in paints that are opaque when in mass tone. But that just could be me. Just talking from personal experience here. The next colour is another deep, deep light colour, and it is Bramble, and it is delicious. It is a delicious violet colour. Look at that. Look at that in mass tone. How rich that is. I have to just pull this down a bit so that I can dilute it here. Bramble has colour separation, which I don't know if it's going to come through quite as dramatically as it should because of the hot press paper, but it will. I can already see it. There's pink. There's pink and violet colour separation in there. It's beautiful. And even on hot press paper you can see it has a little bit of texture to it. J Blue is next, another deep, deep light colour. Another beautiful colour. It's a moody, dark blue. And I will dilute that a little bit so you can get a better look at the hue. It's beautiful. Reminds me of moody skies and stormy skies. We had a storm yesterday and it was promised to us. I say it was promised. The Weather Channel said that it would be raining today, but no. I'm glad it didn't yet. We need the rain, but I'm glad it didn't yet because I needed to do the video and I prefer it to be sunny when I'm filming. Terra Arancio is next, and this is by Essay, and it is a beautiful terracotta. Let me show you this beauty. This is gorgeous. A beautiful terracotta, smooth as butter on paper. And I'll dilute it. That beautiful yellow orange colour separation there, that's separated as well. Beautiful delicate terracotta when it is diluted. The next colour is Sepia, and this is a brown that when I first saw it, I was gobsmacked. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. This is by Essay, and it is one of my favourite browns. I don't think anything like this exists elsewhere. Well, I haven't come across it. So this is a rich, so rich coffee brown. And I will dilute it so you can see it in all its glory. It reminds me of sepia ink, which I think is what it is meant to look like. It is sepia inked colour. And this is what, no wonky circles. No wonky circles, please, 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 please. Okay. Ooh. It's wonky-ish. And almost touching, but not quite. And the final colour for this palette is Mother Earth, which is one of my absolute favourite deep light colours. I love this colour to bits. This and Forest Green are going to be the first two colours that I run out of from my deep light collection, I'm sure. I use it so much. And I use it so much, and yet there's quite a lot in there still, but I think that means it's because it's quite pigmented and my paintings are small. But this is where the magic happens, where you apply the Mother Earth in mass tone, and it is opaque, like totally. Total coverage. You cannot see the paper underneath. Well, at the moment I can't see it. No, I cannot see any paper underneath. However, if I go and add plenty of water to it, it becomes this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And this is opaque next to what greys this can achieve. Transparent colour. It is beautiful. This colour, I looked it up on the catalogue that Deep Light have on their website, where it lists all the pigment numbers of each colour. This has 6 in it. 6. 6 colours, and yet it can produce this flawless grey. I was like, when I found that out, I was going, how did they do that? Is this magic? I don't know. I'm still blown away. And this is the reason why I put some paper over on the other side, just flitting here. But can you see from my excitement, from my excitement, I have just splattered all over this, and I didn't want that to happen. Anyway, I'm going to leave these to dry, and then I'll be back so that we can start and do a little bit of painting. See you in a bit. So I'm back with clean water, with a clean palette, dried page over here, and now I'm going to move on to this page, which I covered because I knew I was going to get excited about these colours and I would splatter all over the place with watercolours, so I covered it. And on this page I used the colours that were in this palette. So all the colours you see here are used from this palette, colours that were in this palette. And I'll begin telling you what colours are where. So this is Mother Earth. This is a mixture of sepia and jade blue. This is Rosehip and Enfuagado. This green is jade blue and Enfuagado. Bramble. This is Enfuagado and Perylene Crimson. This is Pear Green, Perylene Crimson and Enfuagado. This is Bramble and Perylene Crimson. This is Pear Green and Jade Blue. I think this bit is. This is Mother Earth and Enfuagado, and this is J Blue and Enfuagado. So on this page, I just wanted to showcase what the colours could do. And as you may have noticed, one of the items on this page has not been coloured in, and that is what we'll be colouring in now. And it is this mushroom. And I think the colours that I chose, because I did a little bit of mixing. By the way, these little squares of watercolours have been so handy to have around. I bought these from Temu there, and for testing colours and for having like swatches on them, trial swatches for when I'm planning to do a curated palette. They've been great. Really nice paper as well. Not 100% cotton because they were very cheap. If I can, I'll link the paper below in the video description. And by the way, I'll also link, of course, all the colours that I used. Anyway, back to what we're doing here. I'm going to mix Rosehip and Perylene Crimson for this red here. And before I do that, I am going to go with my brush and add water to this area of my mushroom to get it all ready for accepting the watercolour. The Perylene Crimson can be a little bit staining, so I'm going to add quite a lot of water because I don't want it to stain and not being able to remove it afterwards. Move it around, not remove it. So I'm going to use the Perylene Crimson. Oh my goodness, it's so pigmented. You dip it into the water and it is so pigmented, the water immediately goes red. And some of this Rosehip. These three colours go so well together for mixing: the Enfuagado, the Rosehip, and the Perylene Crimson. Now, I'm going to flip this page over and just try it. I think that's lovely because it's a red that has an undertone of orange and yellow. Really like that. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to move this palette to one side. I am going to also turn my journal to do this, and also tip it a little bit. This is watercolor acrobatics because I am trying to paint around the camera, which is not always easy to do. So I'm adding color where there isn't those little white bits that are protruding from our mushroom. And I'm going to get some water. Sorry, I bumped you there. And tip. This is going to be far from perfect because this is a little bit awkward to paint like this, but I think we're going to manage it. So I'm going to continue dragging the colour down so it does a gradient. add a bit more water. I really would love to make a more feasible setup where I can paint on video, but alas, it's very difficult because of MS to find some kind of setup that's comfortable. I'm going to persevere with the ideas that I have, see if I can reach a solution, because I would love to do more painting. At the moment I just do painting tutorials for my patrons every month. So okay, so we have that, but I'm going to add a little bit more because I'm not liking the way that is being covered there. Yes, I'm going to add a bit more. And I said this is going to be far from perfect. Apologies. With my patrons, I put a book underneath, so my journal slanted a little bit. I haven't done that today though. So I'm going to leave that a little bit to dry, holding it. Once that's dry, can you see that? I think I moved the journal out of shot there. Once that's dry, I'm going to move and do the exact same thing on the other side, because I want this to be the lightest area of the mushroom, and this to be the darkest, this the second darkest, and this the lightest. So I'm going to rotate it now. I think that might be sufficiently dry for me to start applying colour. Sorry if there was any painting being done out of shot. I was too focused on the paper to actually look at the phone. There. It's a dry day, sunny as well, and quite warm. I'm really trying not to get any colour that is staining to set before I can move it about. In winter, funnily enough, I don't have this issue as much. I think that is okay. And I'm going to add a little bit under here because I think that is needed. And a little bit on the top here. And the things that I did paint here obviously remind me of September. So that's a harvest moon there, which is almost on my birthday, which is quite exciting. I think the harvest moon's on the 18th and my birthday's on the 19th, so there we go. think that's okay. I'm going to have to let it dry. And now I'm going to have to decide what colour I'm going to use under there. And I think from my swatching here, I used enfuagado and sepia to get this very pale, almost raw sienna colour. Move this about so I can do the mixing. Enfuagado. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I am. And a smidgen of sepia. Yeah, and I don't need much of this. Tiny bit more. And I'm going to do the bottom here. And quickly remove the hard edges. Okay, so that has to dry for me to actually do this bit underneath. And what can I do else? I could actually add a little bit of texture with the sepia. I was between making a video about this palette with mixing afterwards to show you its potential, but then I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Let me know if you like this. What would you prefer me to do, mixing, or me to be doing a little bit of painting and showing you what the palette can do, having done some painting with it? What would be more helpful to you? Just add a few dots underneath there. And let's dry my brush a little bit and just do a few dabs here and there. And it doesn't need to be that bold, so I can just go in with some paper and lift the one around it. Yeah, that's fine. I want the bowl to be on the mushroom. Is that drying? Yes, it is. I'm going to add a little bit more of this mixture of sepia and enfuagado, which I've done into kind of a rawish sienna under here. Onto this side. I think I'm okay to do that here as well. It's so funny how I get stage fright when I'm painting on camera. Not so much, I've got over it with my patrons. I feel quite relaxed with my patrons, but when I'm on YouTube, I don't know why. It's silly why I get stage fright painting. I suddenly forget everything that I was supposed to do. Not how to paint, but what I was supposed to do. What am I doing? What should I be doing? There we go. It's strange how our minds work. They work for us and against us sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to go and get some of this mixture of Perylene, Crimson and Rosehip, and I'm going to go and add some shadow right under my little white protruding bits, which is not the technical term for them, but that's what I'm going to use, just to give a little bit of three-dimensionality. Again, I'm not sure if that's a word. think that's okay. We've had our first rain, so our first mushrooms should be coming out very, very soon. Around here, you get mushroom gatherers going round. Oh, I forgot that bit there. It's making it a little bit more transparent. Just moving a bit with the tip of my brush. I think that is our mushroom. What do you think about the layout? What do you think about the colours together? For me, this palette reminds me a lot of September here where I live, but I know that it's a very personal thing. Wherever you live in the world, the colours are going to be different. The nature is going to be different wherever you are in September. So, but for me, this is my September palette, and I'm going to use it a lot this month. I know I am. I love some of the mixes. I absolutely love this J Blue and the Infragado, this beautiful green, I absolutely love. And this, the Infragado and the Mother Earth, I really love. I love the pairing of the J Blue and the Infragado. The Infragado has been the star, I have to say. I love also the Mother Earth with this sepia, the J Blue. Lots and lots of colours that I do love. I hope you forgive my little messy mushroom here. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult not to have my journal at an angle. I should have brought a book with me to put it at an angle like I do with my patrons, but alas, no, I didn't. Sorry about that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really, really hope you enjoyed the video and that it's put you in the mood for September and autumn. I hope you have amazing September, an incredible month, and are enjoying the changing of the seasons wherever you are in the world. I'm hoping that I will see you next week again with possibly it's going to be a review of some paints. It's either going to be a review of paints or watercolour markers next week. So if you would like to see that, please subscribe so that YouTube will let you know that I have uploaded a new video. Hit the notification button for that to happen. Yes, this is my awkward bit. So I've said the first bit. I'll go on to the final bits, which are, if you like this video, please like this video because it helps the channel's visibility through YouTube. If you would like to see more videos from me, I already said, please subscribe and hit the notification button. And if you have any comments, want to leave any comments, that would be absolutely amazing. I love all your comments. And thank you so much for taking the time to write them. I really appreciate it. I'm going to leave you here with my little bit about hope, which is do not let go of it. Hold on to it tightly, I am holding right there with you. I love you guys. Keep safe, keep creative, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. Fingers crossed. See you next week. Bye for now.